So having here the 8800 GTX, this monster card. Therefore it also has the 8800 Ultra and the 8800 GTS that I've all reviewed here on the channel. But we take a close look, where does this thing belong? So basically I'm going to move it all a little bit around. The 8800 GT, in my opinion, belongs between the GTS and the GTX. It's not better than the GTX, and that is something we're going to show here on the channel. Because when you're looking at the performance of the 8800 GT, it is interesting. And it was, if you're looking at the power consumption and everything that could, it's quite interesting in my opinion. And just to see how it's performing in 2020. And when you're having maybe an idea to build your own new retro PC, or you just have this old stuff laying around, maybe we can still play some new games with it. So that is what we're going to check out. I think that is a card that has some special memories because I started gaming again after many years of not doing anything with games and PCs. So this is going to be a blast and going to be a memory lane for me. I must say I did that, had this version, had the 320 MB from Asus back in the day, because we're paying €299 in euros for a graphic card. And this thing was even more, I think around 350 euros. Alright, so we're going to start with an indie game, Broforce. It looks, let's say, pretty basic, but I can tell you, indie games can be very demanding. So what we're going to do, we're going to put them on full HD, because two-dimensional games, I think it will handle it. Okay, so let's test it out. 1080p, we're going full HD with Broforce.
They like to roll the dice. By chance they came on a devil's game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price.
Compared with my new generation PC, the loading times are a little bit longer, as you can see. People who play the game will notice it instantly. In the beginning I did notice some big frame drops, but now it's pretty stable. But it's what you're going to get on Full HD with Cuphead on the old 8800 GTX with an old Intel quad-core CPU. Next two-dimensional indie game is Guns, Gore and Cannoli. One of my favorite games, I played it so much. Right, let's see if this thing runs on Full HD and all settings high.
Welcome to the party!
Let's try one of the latest indie games, Street of Rage 4, a pretty awesome game, and I can tell you it's quite demanding, but I think we can play this on 1080p and we're going to put everything on high settings. So let's see how it's running. Alright, so the two-dimensional games are running pretty fine, so let's try on Full HD this racing game. It will be a little bit more demanding than the previous games, but let's see how it runs. Alright, so Blaze Rush is a similar game like the previous one. This time it will consume even more GPU power because this game looks just beautiful. Okay, let's put on HD or Full HD 1080p and full screen. Okay, let's disable this and you know what, let's cap it on 60 FPS. Yep, alright, let it go. Now do you know what, let's put this 2 times MSAA. I just want to have a little bit more challenging. Nevertheless, alright, let's go. Okay, so the racing games are running pretty fine, 60 FPS with no problem on this old PC setup. Alright, now we're going to play games like Devil May Cry, but in this case I just want to grab one of my favorite games, Deadpool. You can already see that on Full HD it's very demanding, so in this case we need to lower the resolution. Put it on graphics on low and let's see what kind of performance we're going to get with this game. So already going from 40, let's say 49 FPS up to 59. So it's a big improvement. So let's see how the game is running.
Deadpool, it's Logan. Got your message. And for the last time, no. You cannot take our Blackbird out for a joyride. Stop calling about it.
Hey, what's that? You guys tracking my every move now? But I haven't even accomplished anything in this game yet. And there's another one. Oh! So it's gonna be one of those games, huh?
Alright, so Mortal Kombat Complete Edition. It's an older game, but don't get me wrong, it's a very demanding game. I'm playing it on a very old setup with an 8800 GTS. This is going to be very interesting. It has a built-in benchmark, so it will check out what kind of settings I need for this game. Quite interesting. So these are the settings that we're going to use. Even texture quality and shadows on high. Okay, so let's see how it looks. And how it plays, of course.
Vengeance will be mine. I will show no mercy. Round 1. Fight! Get over here!
Next up, let's try a racing game, 3-dimensional, very demanding, Ridge Racer Unbounded. Personally, really love this game. Full HD, let's see, what kind of FPS are we going to get? Alright, so when you're again, you can see that launching the game, you can see it's on 30 FPS. It's not even, let's say, idle because it will dip to 19, so this is basically unplayable. So if you want to play a high demanding racing game with an old setup like this, is not really recommended on Full HD. By lowering it a little bit of the resolution, you can see it getting in 30 FPS stable. If I even lower it and let's say putting it on a very low resolution, it will get even better, but at the end this is not recommended, and I think games like this is just basically unplayable or you're just satisfied with 30 FPS. Alright, so let's test a game that is 3-dimensional and have an open world. As you can see, we're going to put it on low settings and 1280 by 720. It still looks cool, but I will show you how it runs. when you're looking at the FPS, it goes all over the place. It goes from 30 up to 50, 70, it's just crazy. But in my opinion, I think this is still playable with an old setup like this. And of course, we are going to play Crysis and try it out on this setup. So this is one of the first games I played with this game card back in the day. I'm going to put it on full HD and then I'm going to lower the resolution so you can see the difference between it and what kind of performance we're going to get, of course.
The North Koreans can't know we're here.
Very high
I won't even
game.
know
It was
what
basically
it's up.
the benchmark for
Can it,
these cards.
Psycho?
And you can
Pay
see
attention.
even on full
This
HD
is a
low
covert
settings, it's
operation.
going to get around 40, 41
Our job is to
FPS.
locate
In
and
my opinion,
evacuate.
not bad for
We're not at
full
war here.
budget
Not
gaming
yet.
card, because this was not
Prophet,
the
you even know if these
best
people are
card
still
out
alive?
there.
That's what we
Alright, let's put it on 1280 by 768 and let's see how it's going to run now. But yeah, you can still see it's not running on 60 FPS. This game was super demanding back in the day. But yeah, nevertheless, let's play a little bit on the settings that we're having now.
Aztec, report. Damn it!
Prophet, I've made it to the beach.
You hit the water pretty hard. Some of your suit functions are offline. Let me run a quick diagnostic. Your video feed is breaking up. I'm gonna try to recalibrate. All right, your suit checks out. You're back online.
Maximum armor,
Make sure your silencer's attached.
maximum speed,
Careful, man.
maximum
Contact.
So this card is just gigantic. It even has the option from triple SLI. Can you think about it, that you bought 3 of these freaking cards? We're also going to need 2 6-pin connectors. We're having double DVI. Yeah guys, this is really retro. Okay, so let's grab ourselves the 8800 and let's put them side by side. And you can see, holy crap, the GTX is just a massive card. So the biggest difference is with the SLI function. The GTS, as you can see over here, different connector, we can only use 2 cards. And with the GTX we can use triple cards. And we're only going to have a 6-pin on the GTS. Alright, mainboard has been connected. Let's connect the bad boy. Wow. Okay, so I'm ready for it. Let's hook it up. Let's power it on. And let's play with the 8800 GTX guys. And let's test out. So the first thing we're going to do, we'll try out indie games. And then we're going to move on to, let's more like the more demanding games. I will show you the performance in screen with some commentary in combination with it. Nevertheless, alright, let's boot up Windows and let's go. Okay, so we're going to play the first game is Blaze Rush. It's not a super demanding game, but I just wanted to show you that you can play some pretty cool games, some indie games, some basic games with an old setup like this. It's full HD and it's running on the highest level of details. But what you can see over here, it really not utilized the CPU. 4 cores are not really being used with this game, so it's not super demanding. You can see that it is using the GPU only for 31%. So when it comes to these games, it's not a really big of a deal. If you want to play some old games with an old setup, it is no problem whatsoever. So let's skip to the next game, Cuphead. Okay, so when it comes to Cuphead, you can see that the loading times are quite slow. But the game is still very much playable. So let's do a good gameplay and I will show you what I mean.
Good day for a swell battle. Now go!
Okay, so let's step up the game and let's try a 3D game. I can already tell you with the 8800 GTS I had some big struggles with this game. It didn't run that great. But now with the GTX and some more memory and more power, yeah, we can finally play a Ridge Racer. Don't ask how, because this thing only runs on 30 FPS. And that is not the way you want to play. Still, when you're looking at the image, it looks quite nice, but when you're playing it, you're missing the speed. because this game is based on speed and you're missing it out. So in my opinion, it's fun to play it like this, but it is missing out the elements of the game. So let's grab ourselves a free roaming game. Saints Row 4 is then a very nice way to go to. And the fun fact, this game is way better playable than with the 8800 GTS. But take into consideration, the settings are on low but on full HD. Let's do the nuke attack and let's push it to the limit.
Don't worry, everyone loses to me.
Wow, and you can see that it dips to 24 FPS. So it's more like going all the way to 24, going up to 50. The FPS is in all places. So is this game playable? I think no, this is not the way how you need to play this game. Okay guys, so a quick short gameplay of BioShock Infinite. Let's see how this game runs. So far so good, around the 50 FPS. But it's dipping of course.
Flush him out!
So when you take a close look at this game, BioShock Infinite, it's playable, but the FPS go all places. And I'm not hitting the 60 FPS all the time. Sometimes I'm just being idle on 30 FPS. But as you can see, wow, my graphics card is 76 degrees when playing. Yeah, it's very hot in here. And then it's the ultimate question, does it run Crysis? Back at the day, the Crysis game was so freaking demanding, and even with the 8800 GTX we can put them on full HD, medium settings, and this is the best result we're going to get. It's not hitting the 60 FPS, even when you're going to put on low you will get some extra frames, but we're never going to get a stable FPS 60 with this game and this graphic card.
Camuflaje activado.
Cuidado, Nomad. Hay enemigos
Blindaje
ahí delante.
máximo. Camuflaje activado. Blindaje máximo. Camuflaje activado. Energía crítica. Blindaje máximo.
This is the EVGA, the 8800 Ultra Edition. So you can say that this was more like the RTX 3019 from back in 2007. Yeah, it's already been so long. And back in the day they released this beast of a graphic card, and already spoken of different versions of the 8800 lineup, but this one was quite interesting and I was very happy to find a working specimen. And I'm very pleased to see that we can finally use it here on the channel and show you, do some testing, playing some games, and just to check out how good is this monster for 2007. And not to forget, what kind of modern games can we play on my old PC or on my old setup in combination with this super expensive card from back in the day. So we're going to not do a lot of testing of Blaze Rush or other indie games, because with the GTX we had a very good performance, 60 FPS, full HD on high performance. Nevertheless, let's try one game just to show you again how good this old card can run modern indie games. So let's step it up with another retro game. It's the Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, or Mortal Kombat 9. So let's see what we're going to get with performance. So the first thing we're going to do, let's go to option. We're going to put on full HD. We're also going to shut down the anti-aliasing, but we're going to put all the texture and shadow quality on high. And you will notice that the performance are quite surprising with this old setup. It's of course an old game, but it was a very demanding game. It was released on PlayStation 3. But nevertheless, let's play some games and let's have some fun.
Vengeance will be mine! Round 1. Fight!
But I really find it pretty cool to see that this old game still runs very well on this old setup. Nevertheless, with this combination, I find it always surprising what you can do with an old PC and an old graphics card. 60 FPS on high, full HD. Next up, with the 8800 GTX, we had quite some good performance with this game. The GTS didn't handle this game very well, but we're going to get a stable 30 FPS. It's on low settings, full HD resolution. Another test I love to do is with Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 was not really playable with the GTS and became a little bit playable with the GTX. But with the Ultra, here you can see that with the really demanding games, you will get more like an still fluctuating FPS, and it is playable. As you can see, it dips everywhere. Let's do the nuke attack and you will see it will get the same dip like with the GTX, because the Ultra is not a very big step up. 27 FPS at lowest, and it goes unstable around 30 up to 40.
Manners. You won't live to regret that.
So with BioShock, with the GTX, we had a very unstable frame rate and we didn't even touch the 60 FPS. But with this game and this Ultra 8800, you can see we are getting the 60 FPS on some points, where there was not a lot of stuff going on. But you can see that it still struggles with this game, of course. But in my opinion, I think it's playable this way. So let's play, let's shoot, and let's see what happens.
Yourself.
But does it run? Crisis! And if you have seen my previous video of the 8800 GTX, you can see that it doesn't run Crisis perfectly. It's on full HD but low settings, and with the GTX it wasn't quite an impressive performance for back in the day because this card was very old. With the Ultra we had a minor improvement, so you can see that we are hitting 60 FPS sometimes, But when you're going to play some more, you can see it struggles getting unstable 60 FPS with this game and even with the 8800 Ultra Edition. Alright, so the card has been plugged in, driver has been reinstalled. I'm ready to go. I hope you're ready. We're going to try out the first game, my favorite game, Blaze Rush. Is a pretty cool game. It looks fantastic. We're going to also try this on full HD. Everything put to high if to come to the quality. Okay, Blaze Rush. And this is a game that is not super demanding, including for the CPU, but just see how it runs on the 8800 GT. Okay, so the 8800 GT is just perfect for when you want to play some basic indie games, some older stuff. As you can see, it's not even using full potential of the graphics card. And that also includes for the CPU.
Now go!
Fun fact, when we're going to get a Cuphead, it's not really looking like a demanding game, but you can see it pushes the graphics card to 80% of usage. Nevertheless, this is quite a demanding game, but it is still playable now in 2021 on this very old graphics card. So for Ridge Racer, it will be the same story like the previous graphic card. It will give you, let's say, a 30 FPS gameplay. I think it will ruin part of the game because this game is based on speed. But nevertheless, this is what you're going to get when you're having a single 8800 GT inside your gaming machine. It's still cool that you're having this, let's say, little older but still budget graphics card and you can still play some three-dimensional games. Okay, so let's try Saints Row number 4, and what I did notice with this game is that even that this card is between the 8800 GTS and the 8800 GTX, yeah, you can see the results of the game are not that great. I'm even dipping to 28 FPS when I'm just playing, and that's something that didn't happen with the GTX or, let's say, the GTAs. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the performance with this game. Next up, for one of my favorite fighting games, Mortal Kombat 9. Not super demanding, by the way, Mortal Kombat X doesn't even boot up. So let's try this game and let's see how the performance are on this card.
Vengeance will be mine. Bring it. Round 1. Fight. Get over here.
Okay, so this game, Bioshock Infinite, I already tested a couple of times on the different cards, and it is not really holding up at the moment with 44, 43 FPS. It's not a great performance. I think it's similar with the 8800 GTS at the moment. So you can see that it sometimes slightly goes up but that's the best performance we're going to get.
But does it run? Crisis! Let's find out.
So if you have seen my previous videos, the 8800 GTX still struggles with this game, because this was just the graphic card killer back in the day with the 8 series. So, and the 8800 GT is between the GTX and the GTS, so the performance will not be better. But the game is still kinda playable.
Camuflaje activado. Blindaje máximo. Camuflaje activado. Blindaje máximo. Camuflaje activado. Blindaje máximo.
But in the end, the 8800 is an absolutely interesting series from back in the day. So there's quite a lot of fun making these videos. I have so many different graphics cards in the collection. So if you really are into GPUs like me, consider subscribing, hit that little bell. I have the most weirdest one out there, and I'm still searching more for like different versions like the GTX 9800 GX2 and all of those very cool hardware novelties. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it will be great to see you in the next video with some more graphic cards. Because I have enough. Yeah.